Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
And welcome home. Welcome back to Unity on the Mountain. All of you, each of you, you have such great energy bubbling up here already. You're just knocking it out of the church and all over town. We're so happy that you each are here. I'm Susan, and this is Amy and Barry, and they are just going to lead us through musically, and I will stand over here and lead us through with words. How about that? Let us say together our opening statement. There
There's only one presence and one power in my life and the universe, God the Good.
And this morning we have already lit our Christ light, our light within that shines out into the world, and you guys have demonstrated that already with the power of your singing and tambourine playing, making a joyful noise unto the Lord. Recognize that Christ light within each of you, and look in the mirror when you get home and say, yes, I do. I radiate that Christ light, that Christos, that love. Let us therefore affirm together our vision and mission, centered in God.
We inspire spiritual transformation, creating a world of love, peace, and prosperity. We are an inclusive spiritual community, inspiring, awakening, and serving in love.
And I feel this every day, that we are an inclusive spiritual community, and we love each other no matter what. We hold each other up in support. We also love children and the child within us. We recognize that we each have that little girl, little boy still inside of us who's saying, I'm sort of scared of this world. This world out here is just too much some days, isn't it? Doesn't it feel like too much? So let's say this for ourselves, for children, for young adults all over the world.
We love you, we bless you, and we hold the Christ in you. We accept you just the way you are. Walk in beauty, you are divine.
Let's go ahead and stand up and sing another song. We're going to sing How Can I Serve Today? So for Amy, it's really easy. This screen, we'll sing this 3 times, and the next screen, we'll sing the second verse 3 times. It's Ricky Barza. How can I serve today? Sweet Spirit, how can I serve today? Oh Lord, speak in ways that I will understand. Where you lead me, I will follow. Where you
prayer box forward, please, and we share our prayers in writing in this box as well as in our hearts today.
Thank you. So let's just bring our consciousness to the prayers that we are sharing in this moment. The prayers that have been written down. The prayers that will never be written down. Those prayers that are in our hearts. We open ourselves to the truth of divine presence, to the truth of divine healing, to the truth that things operate in ways that we do not understand, but we open and we allow. We allow divine love. We allow divine life to come into every situation. Oh Spirit, here and now, we open ourselves, we surrender ourselves, and we accept the gift of healing what needs to be healed. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Carol. And moving in further into our service this morning, Renee has agreed to share with us the daily word.
For today, the word is grace. I give thanks for everyday grace. Grace is my unmerited gift from the divine source, freely available to all. Grace is accessible to me at any moment. I need only to be conscious enough to recognize it. When I live in a state of grace, I'm living in an awareness of the divine flow. As I spiritually awaken through prayer and meditation, I realize how grace is active in my everyday life. It shows up as amazing opportunities that unexpectedly present themselves, resources that materialize out of seemingly nothing, and unambiguous signposts perfectly timed to show me the next right step to proceed in alignment with a higher purpose for my life. I experience profound gratitude, joy, and wonder as I see the results of Spirit's guiding grace in my daily affairs. And from Psalm 16:11, you show me the path of life. In your presence, there is a fullness of joy.
Thank you. Let us settle into our grounded seat and put your feet on the floor. Prepare to breathe in deeply inspiration. Let us say together the Lord's Prayer. Our Father,
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever.
And move even deeper, deeper into that place of connectedness, of awareness. For thine is the kingdom. This is the kingdom. We are in the kingdom. Here and now. We are in the glory. Here and now as we allow it. As we allow ourselves to make that connection with the truth of who we are. Breathe in, breathe in. I am one with the one power and one presence. Just simply the words I am. I am. The only name that divine essence gave to itself. in our scripture. In our scripture. I am. We know that it is important to let go, allow, surrender. Surrender who I think I am in this moment. Surrender to that power. That even in my surrendering I cannot comprehend, but it is there and it flows through me. Allow power flowing through you. Flowing through every cell of your body. Light, energy, intelligence, love, wholeness, peace. In this place of allowing, in this place of surrender, we move into silence, allowing our minds to slow down, breathing deeply, allowing in the silence. And allow your consciousness to be back here in this room, bringing that connection, that oneness. Yes. Let me hear with those divine ears and speak with divine words. Love with divine love. Allow my light to shine, O Spirit, as we will move from this place and this time. Oh God, may this light always be radiating from me. For I am, we are, this group of people is a radiating center of the Christ light, mighty to attract its good and to radiate good to others. We know this, we allow this, we practice this, and so it is. Amen. We're all here, we're all back from travels. Enjoyed being gone, but oh my goodness, does it feel good to be back home again. And to tell you where I was with my friend, who was the one who dragged me kicking and screaming into Unity back in 1979. So, knew her before that. So our friendship goes back even further than that. But to have that reconnection on there. Now, as many of you are aware, I've been going through cataract surgery, had the final one on Thursday. I can see all of you out there. Oh, God. However, to see what is in front of me, I do have to put them back on again, but you all are kind of in a mess. So anybody that has fears about getting up in front of people, okay, just wear glasses that fog your vision and can't see what's going on out there. So today, we're moving forward into this series of looking at the parables of Jesus. So the book that our Sunday school class used, The Hidden Parables, took us a year to go through that and work through that. But you know, even taking that kind of time, going back over it again, is just being such a gift to me. So kind of at the beginning, this is kind of the third parable that I'm sharing with you. So, and why are we doing this? Can we remember way back the very first one? You know, his disciple says, why do you teach in parables? And Jesus said, because I'm teaching you mysteries. I'm teaching you mysteries. I'm teaching you spiritual mysteries that some people can hear and some people can't. So parables, everybody can get the basic message from the parables. But what's that deeper meaning? And actually, it's not nearly so much hidden as it is, we just need to move deeper into that place of connection. So our first mystery, what was that? Forgiveness. Yeah. And remember, these mysteries are not a one-time thing. Okay, yeah, we did that forgiveness stuff. Okay. Many spiritual teachers said, you know, when I go to bed at night, what I do is go through my day, and where do I need to let go? What do I need to forgive? Is it situations out there? Or like most of us, it's really situations in here. Either things we did, or most likely things we did not do. So that's an ongoing process. And what we're going to talk about today is also an ongoing process. So we're looking at the second mystery, which is letting go of fear. Letting go of fear. So we're going to explore that a little bit. And here is from the scripture. So Matthew 12, 22 through 28. Then they brought him a demon-possessed man who was blind and mute. And Jesus healed him, so that he could both talk and see. All the people were astonished and said, could this be the son of David? But when the Pharisees heard this, they said, it is only Beelzebul, the prince of demons, that this fellow drives out demons. The prince of demons driving out demons. Let me stop just a little bit. So here's this Beelzebul, or we often hear it pronounced Beelzebub. So the actual name was the name of one of the gods in neighboring countries, and that actually, you'll recognize this title, the Lord of the Flies. Well, for the Jews, this was not good enough, so they changed that last B. So instead of Beelzebub, it's Beelzebul, which means the Lord of the Dumb, or S-H-I-T. So when you see that, it's spelled different ways. That's kind of, so they're saying it's only this Lord of the Dumb who is driving out demons. And Jesus knew their thoughts and said to them, every kingdom divided against itself will be ruined, and every city or household divided against itself will not stand. If Satan drives out Satan, he is divided against himself. How then can his kingdom stand? And if I drive out demons by Beelzebul, by whom do your people drive them out? So then they will be your judges. So what is he saying here? So Jesus in his youth was not being unique in his ability to heal. Now, not everybody could do it, but there were other healers, and they knew that that healing process came from divine, it came from God. But they're saying to Jesus, no, not you. So if the Pharisees are saying to him that he's doing it through the power of Satan, well, who are their people doing the healing through? But if it is by the Spirit of God that I drive out demons, then the kingdom of God has come upon me. So, a house divided against itself cannot stand. Now, how many of you thought that Abraham Lincoln coined that phrase? I did, and so you hear that. But he was quoting Jesus. A house divided against itself. So, where is this hidden meaning going to lead us? So, in unity, we do not believe in a separate power of evil. We do not believe that evil is something that's separate and out there. So what's our opening statement? There is one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God. Where in that statement does it allow Satan a separate power of evil to exist in this universe? Now here's where some confusion comes in, and it comes up in class, it comes up when other teachers say there is no separate power of evil. That is not saying there is no evil in this world. There is. But where does it come from? Where does it come from? Is the natural disasters or volcanoes and tornadoes and things like that evil? No. Because they only affect human beings, and human beings get in the way of them. Wild animals, or animals that attack human beings, is that evil? Absolutely not. People only get attacked when they get in the way. But where do we see evil? We see it coming from human beings. There is no evil, and you can at some point interrupt me if you come up with some ideas. There is no evil in this world. And I'm not supposed to talk in absolutes, but this I'm going to say absolutely. That is not created through human agency. Evil cannot happen without human beings. Okay, take a deep breath about that. But then, how is that related to fear? So when we think about evil out there, isn't that kind of where fear comes from within us, So what are your personal demons? What are your fears? What are your fears in this process? Think about it. When I use the word fear, now, most of you know the acronym, false evidence appearing real. So a lot of you are saying, I don't go there. I don't go there. I've been on this spiritual path. I've got that connection. No, I don't even go there. Well, let's unpack that just a little bit. So first, there's practical fear. And how many of us have practical fear? Here's something that's happening. It's dangerous. There's a fire. There is... Well, I got a story for you. It's actually somebody that many of you know, but who is not here right now, lived on a house on the side of the mountain off of Dug Hill Road. And so it's a beautiful, beautiful sunshiny day, and it's warm enough that it's been warm, and she has the doors open, and she's in the kitchen. She's in the kitchen working, and she hears this kind of funny sound. She's there at the house by herself. It wasn't a loud sound, but let me go investigate this sound, see what it is. And she goes to the door, and she looks in the dining room, and on the floor is a copperhead. Practical fear.
Yeah.
Being a woman of power, she steps back quietly and goes and gets the broom. And again, using common sense and practicality, takes that broom and gently, not in hysterics or anything else, starts pushing, shoving, and gradually gets the snake out the door and closes the door. Practical fear. Practical fear. Coming from a practical place. Now, when the door was closed, the snake was gone. But we all have those kinds of things. And so fear, we're not saying you should let go of practical fear. You need to pay attention. So when you think about what is practical fear. So we live in an area where there's tornadoes. Practical fear is when, you know, you get the little announcement on the radio, you know, that funny noise, and says there's tornadoes in the area, and if you're in this area, you know, you should get to a safe place and things like that. Practical fear. But when, okay, it's April, this is tornado season, and now you start panicking and going, oh, what if a tornado comes? That is not practical fear. And how many of us do that? And what is another name for that? How about worry? I'm not in a place of fear. But how many of you are worriers? Worriers. I know some of you are because some of you told me that. I'm worried. But worry is just a form of fear. So think about this. And so here's another story that a friend shared with me. And see if you recognize this. I'm sure this is something that all of us do. This is not quite so dramatic as a snake in the house. But so here's two friends that she was helping pack up, get ready to take a trip to the beach. How many of you pack your car up and go driving off to the beach? And in this process, they were going to take their two dogs with them. Well, everything that could go wrong was going wrong in their heads. You know, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if? And just creating all this trauma and drama in their heads. You recognize that? Oh, what if I forget this? What if that happens? In this case, what if one of the dogs gets car sick? Because one of them did. Well, should I be worried about it, or should I say, we know this can happen. Here, let's do this. Let's hang. You know, what if one of them gets away? Well, we've got ways of taking care of that. So you begin to see, you know, what is this worry? And they made the trip down there, and as far as I know, none of those things came to pass. However, what did come to pass inside of them? They experienced all the drama and the trauma that if all of those things had happened. And remember, our mind cannot really distinguish the difference between something we've imagined and something we've actually experienced. Now think about what that's doing to their body. Think what it's doing to your body. You know, what are your worries? What keeps you awake at night? And one of the things that happens with worry, you know, it gives us the illusion we're doing something. Have you ever thought about that? As long as I'm worried about it, I'm obviously taking care of what I need to do. Don't think so. So you have to ask yourself, no, I'm not in a place of fear, but I am in a place of worry. Okay, let's escalate. Let's escalate. What about terrorists? Should I be aware, you know, terrorists, you know, what's happening to me, what's going to happen to me? Well, and it's not just you as individuals stirring that up. You know, our whole media process, you know, there's big bucks. There's lots of power to be gathered by having everybody terrified about what terrorists might do to us. But let's put it in perspective just a little bit. So what's the worst thing that the terrorists do? They blow things up and people die, right? Okay, well let's think about this. Lightning strikes. How many people die every year from lightning strikes? About 50. So from the NOAA data says 1 in 5.5 million. 1 in 5.5 million people die from lightning strikes. So are we terrorized by lightning? No. We have a practical fear. Okay, I hear the thunder. There's a lightning storm. I'm not going to go stand under the tallest tree in the middle of the golf course. You know, I'm going to go inside. I'm going to do the practical things. Riding a bicycle. How many are in terror of riding a bicycle? And yet about 800 people a year die from riding a bicycle. But we're not terrorized by it. In fact, none of our media would want us to be terrorized because then we'd stop buying bicycles and fancy helmets and all of the fancy clothes you got to have to ride a bicycle. All right, let's bring it a little bit even closer to home. What about car crashes? 37,000 people die every year in the United States. Are we terrorized? No. You get out there and get in the car. We do practical things. There's some practical, what's the time of day? Let me pay attention. So there's practical stuff, but we're not terrorized by it. We're not imagining all of the kinds of things. We're not imagining that silly person down the block or off there has got it in their minds that they're going to have a crash. And even when we get in something like that, we don't think of it as, in the same way we think about terrorism. All right, now let's shift back a little bit more into the daily process. What about fears of making a mistake? Anybody here afraid of making a mistake? And this is not asking for your hand to wave, if you please, my hand, and I'm an artist. Do you know what fear of making a mistake does to my ability to try something new when it comes to art? Or one of the others is doing something new for the first time by myself. I'll do almost anything with anybody, but stepping out there in newness by myself. Or not having enough. Remember this story from a couple of weeks ago, when I totally lost it about the cost of the prescription, just really lost it. And then on the Friday, so at some point in time you're going to get a lesson about this book called The 29 Gifts. And in the meantime, if you find it, read it, it's amazing. So in this gifting process, it is deliberately seeing things that you're doing as being a gift, or in this case, okay, I need to want to come up with a gift for Friday, so every day is a gift. Okay, let me do something that is directly related to where my fears were. And I gave a substantial gift to a microloan thing that I have been following for quite a while, but had never gifted them. So on that Sunday, I'm telling this story. So here I am, so here's the situation, here's the fear, here's all of this. Here's a deliberate process to neutralize that fear. Fear was the money, let's do something neutralizes the money fear. So I'm telling this story here, and immediately after the service, somebody walks up to me and says, I prepared this gift for you, and I want you to know it was prepared before we left the house. So they got the point. They were not, this was not a gift that was any way related to the story that I told. And it totally covered the cost of the prescription. Prepared in advance. Okay, let's fast forward. Let's fast forward to Wednesday night when I am in the middle of the night all of a sudden, so the second surgery is on Thursday morning. I have not paid my second copay to the doctor for having the eye surgery. Am I going to show up at the surgery center and they go, oh, I'm sorry, you're not scheduled, you didn't make your copay. So I spent all those hours going, I kept saying, okay, breathe, Carol, there's nothing you can do. So all of this stuff is not necessarily saying that it's easy. Soon as I thought the doctor's office would be open, I called and the young woman says, well, wait a minute. And she goes and checks and she says, no, ma'am, there's nothing here. Nothing that shows that you have any money outstanding, any payment outstanding. $250 that I was expecting. I wasn't upset about it. I was, expecting that, no. Okay, fast forward a few more hours. So all of this story starts back with that prescription and my upset. Guess what was in my purse when I got home was a free bottle of that same prescription. So you begin to see what can happen. So fear, deliberately doing something to neutralize that fear, then connecting the dots. Because all of those things would probably have still happened, but I could have said things like, well, what a coincidence that they thought about this gift. Oh, well, at the price of that copay, it's certainly worth it for me not to have to pay it. Well, with the cost of that prescription, thank goodness they gave me a free bottle. Think about the difference in the energy. No, making the connection. So this means paying attention. What is going on in your life and how are you connecting the dots? That here's that divine energy moving in afraid of making somebody unhappy, not being a good girl or good boy, whatever that is, you begin to think. And you know what? A lot of times we don't know what it is till something comes up and triggers that. I didn't, you know, I'm in a good place financially. I didn't realize that I had that buried fear still in me until something triggered it. So you pay attention. What's triggering in me? Where am I reacting? What are these things that are going on? Now think about it. When something actually comes up, when you're in the middle of something, are you in a place of worry? Are you in a place of fear? No, you're too busy doing whatever it is that needs to be done. Think about it. You know, because when something practical needs to be done, I'm not in that place of being divided. I am one. So what is all this about? One of my favorite authors is, actually I thought it was Yoda, and then I said, oh, you know, go check. So it was a different person, Frank Hebert. He put it this way. So have you heard these become very popular? Fear is the mind killer. Anybody heard that quote? And here's the whole quote. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn my inner eye to see its path. Where the fear has gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain. It's not resisting it. It is allowing it to go past and observing and then realizing it's gone. It's no longer there. And so what did Jesus say? Every kingdom divided against itself will be ruined, and every city or household divided against itself will not stand. Because fear separates us from the awareness of our true oneness. You cannot be in a place of oneness with God and be afraid. It is an absolute, I'm really into absolutes today, aren't I? You know, but it is an absolute unreality. I cannot know that I am one with all the power that is, that I have that resource, and be afraid. None of us, no matter how we conceive of God, can imagine that divine power being afraid. So we cannot keep that connection when we are in a place of fear. And when we move in to that place of connection, fear begins to dissipate. So here's an affirmation. Now you'll recognize this. Most of us call it the last verse in a song. A table is prepared before me in the presence of mine enemies. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. The table is prepared before me in the presence of my enemies. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. And so our closing statement, say it with me. There is one power and one presence in my life and in the universe. God the good.
So we're going to go ahead and stand up, stretch a little bit, sing a song called Be the Attitude of Christ. It's a Blair Tabor song. You guys, that's a fun song. So we're going to go ahead and sing that. It's really easy to follow. I will guide you through that away.
Yeah.
Amy. Now that we've had our attitude adjustment for this week, we would remember that in this community, we feel that we are in the flow of abundance, and therefore we will start the flow this morning with our prosperity blessing. The
Inexhaustible resource of spirit is equal to every demand. There is no reality in lack. Abundance is here and now manifest.
Thank you.
I give because I believe in love. I give because I believe in love. I give because I believe in love, and love is given to me. I give because I believe in joy. I give because I believe in joy. I give because I believe in joy, and joy is given to me.
And we say thank you together. Divine
Love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Lovingly I give, and lovingly I receive.
Thank you, ladies. Do we have anyone here this morning for the first time joining us?
My favorite.
Your friend Ray, it's our friend Ray. Everybody say hello, Ray.
Hello,
Ray. And do we have,
and another young man
oh,
is
wait,
up.
there's someone in back. Who's this?
This is David.
David.
Oh,
Welcome, David. And welcome all of you. You've been here before, whether you've been here, never. We're so glad you're here.
Sorry, we have another new one.
Oh my
Stacy.
goodness, we are blessed.
Hi, Stacy.
Does anyone feel like they're here for the first time? Yes, okay, good. Welcome, welcome. Do we have any announcements this morning? Anyone want to tell us anything happening?
I have an announcement, so you may have recognized these. So I made a commitment to get 25 voter registration, not voter registration, commitments to vote, to turn back in to the Faith in Action group. And I got 12 the last time I did this, and so I need 12 more because I haven't done mine yet, so 12 more. So this is assuming that you have registered, and I don't know, is it still too late to register in Alabama if you haven't registered? So I would really like it if you all would be willing to fill one of these out, and if anybody is willing to do that, if you will do that. Ray, would you, anybody?
So if you're not registered, please go look it up
Go,
and see.
yeah, go
if you
register.
are and
So
vote.
this is to commit to vote. Because one of the things that people may think, oh, I'm not for either one of those presidential candidates, I'm not going to go vote. Well, you know what? That's only the very, very top of the ballot. All that other stuff underneath there of other people to elect, other situations. The state park initiative that is on the Alabama. Please go and do that. It's really, really important. And if you'll fill out the one side, so both the top and the bottom, and then you can tear it in half. Give me the filled out side, because what I'll do with that is the one that has a little square on it, I will put a stamp on it about a week before and remind you that you made the commitment to vote. And they did some, what happens when people make a written commitment? About 90% of the people who do this actually go and vote. You know, because they think about, I made the commitment. Yes, it's raining out here. Oh, yeah, there might be a line. Oh, but I made a commitment. So making commitments are important. So I really appreciate you doing that.
Thank you, Carol. I was talking with Connie about voting, and you sent me a link from the Secretary of State's office. I think that was a sample ballot, or the elections as a sample ballot. Google it and look for it. There's 12, 15, 19 different amendments that we're asking to vote for. And they're each important. There's some to change our constitution here in Alabama. They're extremely important things. So
And it's gonna take time
It's
if you
gonna
wait
take
till
time.
ballot box
that's
Right.
to
right.
read them, so
And
kind
then
of.
the
have-
wording is backwards, it seems like.
It always is.
So we want to know in advance, and you can print out the sample ballot in advance.
Thank you, because I was wondering about that, because I realized the last election, not presidential one, but just the last election, I didn't know this when I walked in there. And
Yeah,
I
that's
stand there and read it.
Mr. Carroll, I wondered if you wanted to mention the Faith in Action group.
Yes, the Faith in Action group that I have been attending. So since the middle of the summer, when a lot of the stuff has been going on between the police and the black community and Black Lives Matter and all that kind of thing, I've been looking for conversations, real conversations that I could hear from real people what was going on. So I've been to a variety of them. A couple of the first two were kind of talking head panels. And that was good. I got some information, but there was no real conversation going on there. I've been to a couple of others where it was mostly white people and there were a couple of black people there. Well, there still wasn't a whole lot of conversation going on. And then a black friend of mine, a new friend that I've been meeting at the swimming pool, Shirley goes to the swimming pool too. I had gotten an email inviting me to this Faith in Action program, but I just kind of, I've got too many things, I'm not interested. She said, Carol, did you get this email from Al Garrett, who is a friend of mine? And she invited me to go to this meeting with her, and that was in August. And I did, I went to it, and so I was one of 3 or 4 white faces in a field of black faces. Do you think what I heard that night was probably real, coming from a community that feels very, very disenfranchised? Of course it was, because they were not trying to convince other people. They were sharing their own what was going on in this process. And a lot of peers, so at least 3/4 of them were ministers, yes. And at least 3/4 of the ministers were women, yes. And so I have been going regularly to that. So part of their thing is having conversations with people. They call it one-on-ones. Can I have a time with you that we can talk, and really I will listen and you will talk, and I will kind of ask you some questions, and I can find out who you are and where you are. So that's building relationships is one of the first steps. The next step is doing research. So the goal of Faith in Action Alabama, which is part of a national organization, is to look at systemic change. Well, how do you look at systemic change if you don't know what's going on in the system? So doing research of going out, what is the truth of here? What's happening in here? Who are the people who are the movers and shakers within this system? So there's part of that group that was doing that research, and as a result, last Thursday night, we had a meeting with the district attorney for the Madison County. How many people have actually had an opportunity to listen to the district attorney, to have very targeted, specific questions asked to him? And the real joy of this, it shows the power of people working together, is this is a man who does not do those kinds of meetings. And not only when the group of people walked in there to talk to him, find out who he was, get acquainted, with his, I don't do things like this. When they walked out, they had his commitment to come to the meeting. Now, you were at the meeting like 3 of us standing here were. They got his commitment to a second one before they walked off the stage. So the power of people getting acquainted with what's important to people, getting acquainted with what the issues are, and then taking some action and showing the powers that be that there are a lot of people, intelligent people, people who've done their work, people who are willing to do things, not by having massive demonstrations, not by getting angry and doing all of those things, but getting together and having a dialogue and finding out. So next meeting is November the 14th. It's a Monday night. They give you dinner for free. And so if you are interested, let me know. I would love to have more Unity people showing up there.
Preach it, girl.
I
Preach
did.
it. You can tell we call ourselves practical Christians here. We do things. We're not required, and we do come and work together and share companionship together, but we do things in the community as well. One of the things that I'm fascinated with right now is a basket at the end of the back bench back there behind Olga. She's sitting on the goodies we have gathered for First Stop, which is a day center for homeless people, and it's a place they can have a mailbox, they can get help, they can find social workers, find their benefits that maybe they don't even know about, get food, get cleaned up, and supplies. And so we're offering for the next month at least, maybe 2 months.
It's going to be ongoing.
Ongoing collections of things for use in the office at Food Stop, as well as for homeless people. What would they like? Underwear, socks, clothing, deodorant, toothpaste, toothbrush, things like that. There's a list on the board as you leave the church today.
And there's a list in the newsletter. At the bottom of the newsletter has a list of some things, not the whole list.
Okay. We actually have a bookshop upstairs, which I forget to keep talking about. I think it's a great little bookstore of metaphysical books, things to change your own life, to think about your soul, to think about your Christianity or your spirituality, whatever that might be. And so please try and jump upstairs. There's a nice little shelf up there, that several shelves that have some great books on them. Yes, Debbie Priest, hello.
Where's lunch?
Does that mean I should shut up and sit down? You want to eat lunch?
I'm just wondering, because some people don't know about lunch.
Right, and after church, we do gather, there's always a group of people that gather and go to lunch together as a group and have a great community of fellowship and laughter and just being plain old goofy and get to know each other on a deeper level, which is always fun.
I never tempt people with lunch until I'm finished with the list of announcements and prayers. Then I jump up and start
Food is
driving.
important.
So we do usually go out to eat, some of us don't. There's also a change jar. There's a huge, humongous big jar at the door as you're leaving. Please throw some change in there that is used to spruce up the place, to buy our paint and light bulbs and things like that. And it's just easy to clean out that change. You don't have to carry it around. As soon as it gets empty, as soon as it gets full, Lucy will empty it. We have an ongoing class at 9:30. I'd like to reiterate about that. We're studying about the soul right now, right? Find your soul. And fascinating series in a book, which I can't remember the title of.
The Complete Soul.
The what?
The Complete Soul.
The Complete Soul. Okay, thank you. And I want to recommend, if I could, last night I watched on my computer on PBS.org the special they did on producing that Broadway play about Hamilton, Alexander Hamilton.
yes.
And it's such a good little program about how they put it together, who Hamilton was. It explains and shows the sights of his life and how he developed our financial system.
It's been on PBS.
And so
It's been on
PBS.org.
Yes.
On my computer, you can watch it for an hour, hour and a half, stop it, go on, whatever. So thank you, yes. And I just felt like it was such a great way to show how our creativity and artistry can work to educate people, to entertain, to just enliven yourselves. Look at this program. This guy's a genius that wrote this play, I think. And let us celebrate. Let us celebrate. Well, Rebecca.
I had a thing to share. Yesterday we saw the movie Queen of Katwe, Katwe. And it's a most inspiring true story about a young woman in Uganda. And the only reason I'm bringing it up is because it was such a movie of love and generosity and all the things that we believe in. And there it was right on the screen. It's, well, we saw it at the Regal. It might be at other places, but that's where we saw it. And it's going to win an Academy Award. I'm sure it'll win.
Sing our peace song.
We saw it in our prayer for protection.
And let us take the strength of our prayer for protection out into the world with us as we go to lunch. Let us pray. The light of
God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well.
Amen.
Let us go and
Go forth and eat.